All right, so I am your facilitator today. My name is Tyrone Whitby. I'm a licensed real estate agent in Washington, D.C. and in Maryland. And I am a productivity coach. I'm the director of productivity coaching, actually at the Upper Marlboro Keller Williams office. So it's a pleasure having you guys on with us for session 15, which is Win the Seller. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to be mindful of your time. And I trust that if you would just let me know that you can see the PowerPoint. Can everyone see the screen where it says Ignite? Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Amber. Okay, so look, what I like to do is I like to have engagement as well. So sometimes if there are questions, we will take a question. If I have to defer something, I'll defer till maybe a little later on and maybe take that. But there will be times built into the PowerPoint for ahas. Okay, so you'll have some time if you have a question that you would like to ask as we go through. Feel free to take any notes that you would like to take as well. Let's keep it interactive. Okay. All right. So again, Win the Seller. I don't know how many of you were on session 14, which was Win the Buyer. Were there any people that were actually on session 14, Win the Buyer?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. I trust you got value out of that. I hope you did. So I trust you got value out of that. The session tonight with Win the Seller, this is really, really important, as are all of the sessions, but one of the big reasons for this is you guys may be aware that we are starting to go into a shifted real estate market, and the tide is starting to turn a little bit. I'm not going to say in our area that it's totally transitioned into a buyer's market. However, we're on the road, and it depends on your area, your location. There's still many areas that don't have a lot of inventory. So some places, some sellers are still getting multiple offers as well. So I won't say that, oh, we've just totally transitioned into a buyer's market. I'm going to go ahead and start the first slide in the PowerPoint, and we'll go from there. All right. One of the things that's huge, you have some agents that are predominantly say that they are buyer's agents, and other agents will say that they're listing agents. Now, I'm not here to make a judgment call. However, we know that Gary teaches, and in the MREA, he teaches the 3 L's: leads, listing, and leverage. And it doesn't talk about buyers per se from that standpoint. And what we're going to talk about tonight will be listings. All right, there's quite a bit of material, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. You'll see on the screen, it says, while leads are vital to your sales business, seller listings are critical to your ability to build it to its highest level with the lowest cost and highest net. I'm just wondering, does anybody on the Zoom this evening have any response to that? Of why would they be saying that? Does anybody have any experience in this, or something that you've experienced that would give validity to the statement? While leads are vital to your sales business, seller listings are critical to your ability to build it to its highest level with the lowest cost and highest net. Gary Keller, the millionaire real estate agent. Anybody have any comments on that?
Oh, this is Latrina. Buyers take a lot of your time for our showings and stuff like that, maybe, and gas for as different showings and stuff like that. You don't know. You sometimes you wish it could just be 3, but sometimes it's 20. You know what I mean? Or yeah, that's what I was thinking. They cost more money.
Okay, that's a great observation. Because are there many more steps that you need to do to actually work with a buyer?
Yeah.
You got to find, first of all, you got to find the buyer. Second, you then got to see, is this buyer, can you get them pre-approved? So you've got to match them with the mortgage lender. Then next, you're going to need to have a buyer pre-purchase consultation with them. You're going to need to talk to them, sit down with them, walk them through the home buying process before they've spent any money. So you've got that in addition to that. Then you may need to call a listing agent for showing instructions, or you're calling showing time. And how many times do you think you'd have to take a buyer out before they actually make a decision to have you write a purchase agreement? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times? Have some of you taken people out even more times than that?
Yeah, from this past market, from when it was a seller's market, yes.
Okay. Are you starting to see that slow down at all? In
I
terms of you?
do a little bit, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay. So you're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown. Okay. Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm not visiting 20 houses and stuff like it was first. I think sometimes it's like 3, maybe 3 or 4.
Oh, wow. 3 or 4. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. If you guys are camera ready, have your cameras up because it makes it a lot more interesting for the other people on the call so we can see each other, interact with each other, see facial expressions, see when you're puzzling over something, see the little question mark above your head sometime. I can see you thinking. So it just makes it a lot more fun and a lot more energy. Okay. So this statement is a very true statement because one of the other things, remember this, NAR statistics say that for every listing you take, it should lead to 1 closed buyer transaction. I would say probably, maybe even, I would say probably 2. So anytime you have a listing, your listings can drive buyers as well. So be conscious of that also, okay? All right, we're gonna keep going. And on the next slide, we're gonna go to knowing who your A sellers are. Who are your A sellers? Your A sellers. Now, here's Gary's definition of an A seller. And it may be different than what some people may be thinking, because here's what Gary says. Someone that's able, ready, and willing to do business in the next 14 days. For some agents, that's a short window when you say 14 days. So in the next 14 days, whoops, let me go back. Now, some people have a longer window on that. So he's saying someone that's able. So in other words, they qualify. 2, they're ready. So they're motivated. And they're willing to do business in 14 days, which means they have urgency. So here's what I would give you. Anytime you're making a decision, now this is the world according to Tyrone. So Coach T, anytime you're going to make a decision in terms of, let's say you have a pipeline of, I don't know, 3, 4 buyers. You can apply the standard in terms of figuring out who you want to work with first. So who is the best qualified? Who is the most motivated? And who has the most urgency? And I would probably say maybe a 4th thing, who's coachable? So in other words, will they listen to you? Many people have some motivation and have some urgency. However, sometimes they're not coachable. Ever had a client that wasn't coachable? None of you? Okay, all right. None of you have had any clients that weren't coachable? Okay, so we'll do that. So use that as a standard to know where your time should go, okay? So this is an A qualified, and in this case, this is a seller, A qualified sellers, because some people aren't ready right now. Some people want to delay. Now, the 3 L's of the MREA, leads, listing, leverage. Now, in your MREA book, you will find this actually on page number 97, page 97 in the MREA. So reference page 97 in your MREA. Leads, listing, leverage. That's the model. All right, we'll keep pushing from there. All right, virtue, some of you we were talking about this just a little bit. Virtues of seller listings. Number one, seller listings means marketing opportunities. We just spoke about that. Your listings are the best way for you to market yourself and advertise yourself. Having listings can cut your expenses. The reasons that agents market is why? Is to get leads. Well, one of the best ways that I can get leads is, guess what? If I have some listings, that's one of the best methods ever of getting leads. Why? Because your name is on the sign. People are driving by and seeing Amber on the sign. They're seeing Yvonne on the sign. They're seeing your names on the sign. Latrina on the sign. Is that an easy form? Would you agree that that's an easy form of marketing and advertising? One of the best? Okay. Also, you'll have some sellers or potential sellers, they're thinking about selling, and they're wondering who should they actually list with. And many sellers will look at who has signs in my neighborhood. Well, if I'm seeing Latrina's sign in my neighborhood, if I'm seeing Amber's sign in my neighborhood, if I'm seeing Roy's sign in my neighborhood, if I'm seeing Stephanie's sign in my neighborhood, Raymond, Stanford, then guess what? I might as well call one of them, because obviously they know the market. They know the area, okay? Number two, you have more control of your time. Here's the thing about it. You have fewer steps than you have in working with a buyer. Your greatest challenge is going to be on what do you need to do to attract listings? So what do I need to do to get them? What do I need to do to get in front of someone that's considering selling? Because once I get in front of them, my job is going to be to convince them that I'm the agent that can get their house sold. Not listed, sold. When you're going out on a listing consultation, and I changed this up a little bit, most agents will say, I'm going to go out to do a listing presentation. The agents, my coaching clients, we changed that and we use the term listing consultation. Because which do you feel is more valuable? A presentation or a consultation? So we typically use consultation. And here's another reason that we substitute those words. Because typically, if you are going out with the mindset that you're going to go out to do a presentation, then that's exactly what happens. It's this. Talking. I got to give you everything that I know. I got to share everything with you. A consultant operates a little differently. A consultant would do more listening and less talking, because a consultant is going to be determining what the challenge is. What is the problem? And somebody can say they want to sell it. I can give you a prime example. I have one of my coaching clients today. Talked to her on one of our coaching sessions. She was super excited because we're doing a big thing right now on FSBOs, or better known, for sale by owners. That's the thing we're doing. Did a workshop in here on Tuesday. She has an appointment. The listing, potential listing, the for sale by owner is around $650. That's a nice sale. So as we're coaching and speaking with her, I said to her, and she has an appointment. So I asked her, I said, well, why do the people want to sell? And she says, I don't know. So she's got an appointment However, she doesn't know why they want to sell. And she said this person was super friendly with her. She failed to ask. Because when you know why someone wants to sell, what their motivation is, your consultation is built around that. When you don't know, you just know they want to sell. Why do they want to sell? Because people are going to give you objections. And a lot of times, if their motivation is strong enough, it will overcome their objection. And I said to her, and this is me, now this is the world according to Tyrone. And she's a seasoned agent and she has capped before. And I said to her, I said, I would never be on a listing consultation and I don't know why the people want to sell. You just tell me you want to sell. I have nothing else. So that's a question you want to make sure that you ask. Two questions that are very important. If you're going out to meet with the seller, is their motivation and their timing. So when do they want to accomplish this? Timing. Because sometimes their price might not be realistic. So for the price that you want, and you tell me you need to do something in the next 3 weeks. However, you want to list this $30,000 or $40,000 above market. Is that more than likely going to affect the time? Absolutely. You're overpriced. Okay. All right. So you have more control of your time. Now, here's the challenge for this of what we're talking about, the virtues of seller listings. The biggest challenge that you guys are going to have that are on here tonight is going to be, what are the activities that you're willing to do to put yourself in a position to take listings? If you're not doing any listing activity, you got to hope that a listing is going to fall in your lap. So it means doing something consistently day to day to put yourself in a position to take listings. You would have to have a listing-centric focus. Okay? Now, once you get that, I mean, listings are still moving pretty briskly. You will have some things that you need to do to attempt to move that listing. Now, some agents go on one side of the equation or the other. I know some agents say, oh, I don't want to work with sellers because they're just unreasonable. They want to ask too much for the property. I don't want to spend money to market it. You got to buy signs. I got to have a lockbox. I don't want to do that. I'd just rather get a well-qualified buyer, because if I got a well-qualified buyer, I could go to closing in 30 to 45 days. Okay. Let me ask you this question then. What's the only thing that a buyer can buy in real estate is a listing, is a seller listing. So how come you couldn't have the listing? Right? I mean, a buyer can't buy a house if it's not on the market. Somebody had to put it on the market. So why not you? Makes sense? All right. Seller listings maximize your per hour compensation. Now, I don't want to get super deep on this compensation side other than to say, if you're looking in the Bright system, or some of you are maybe from across the country in your system, let's just say MLS, your multiple listing service. Now, I don't know in your part of the country. What we're seeing in the DMV area, District, Maryland, Virginia, and more so right now, District and Maryland, we're starting to see the compensation going down in terms of co-op commissions. We're starting to see that go down. Now, if I'm a listing agent, more than likely I'm going out, I'm talking to the seller about what my professional fee will be. Notice I'm not saying commission. I'm not using the word commission. I would advise you to eliminate the word commission and start using professional fee. My professional fee is whatever your professional fee is. My fee for service is whatever your fee for service is. My brokerage fee is whatever your brokerage fee is. People are reluctant to want to pay people commissions. They don't want people making commissions, and some people will say it, off of them. Well, we're not making money off of anyone. We're providing a professional service for a fee. So that's why we connect professional fee. We're not making money off of you. We're providing a professional service to you for a professional fee. Okay, now they're not going to use those terms. They're going to use commission. Okay, just don't repeat it back. Okay, so just be careful on that one. All right, so generally when you're taking listings, you're making more per listing that you take in versus when you're on the buyer side. You have a little more control. Okay. All right. The other thing too, in some cases, if you have that listing, and let's say the person is going to stay somewhere within the area, why wouldn't they use you as the agent that's going to find them their next home? They should, right? So you have the opportunity now for twofers. You got a buyer, it's one and done. You got a listing, they're going to sell that, they're going to move somewhere in the area. Okay, great. I'll help you do that. And on that end, are they paying you the brokerage fee? No, it's coming from the listing agent. They're not paying you to go find them a house. Or let's say they're going to move out of the area. Well, Keller Williams is an international and a global company. You got a referral fee. We good? Okay. All right. Volume, volume, volume. All right. Volume is just the addition of the closed sales price of the homes you've sold. So if you sold two $500,000 homes, you have $1 million in volume. You sold 3 of them, you have $1.5 million in volume. You sold 350 homes, you have $700,000 in volume. Ladies and gentlemen, the thing I would say to you, in this shifted market, the thing that you want to be really, really high on is not volume, but units. Units. Look at how many units you are doing, not volume. Because you could have something where you sold 3 $500,000 homes and you have $1 million in volume versus you had 10 units and that obviously if you had 10 units, depending on the sales price, is going to push that up. But concentrate on units, not volume. All right. All right. With the seller, you are on the forefront, the front end of pricing. Here's the other thing to be careful on. In this shifted market that we have transitioned into, be very, very careful of knowing your comps and being on top of your comps that you run for a seller in terms of them positioning the property to sell it. I would be a little more conservative than overly aggressive, depending on the area and the property. Because what we're starting to see now and what's going to grow, and it's going to be an opportunity for some of you that are on this call, the Zoom rather, if you decide to maybe play in that arena, so to speak, what you're going to start to see is an increase in expired listings. Expired listings. What is an expired listing? It's a listing that a seller made a commitment with a real estate agent to put their house on the market with the agent. And they said, okay, great, we'll give you 3 months. Well, guess what? They're beyond 3 months. That listing has expired. It's open to any agent to work that listing and let the seller know, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, hey, I noticed in our computer network that your home was no longer available for sale. And I was calling to ask when you plan to hire the right agent for the job to sell your house. Well, yeah, we do still have to sell because I have a job offer in Charlotte and I need to be there no later than April 15th. That's an opportunity. Just because a certain company didn't sell their house doesn't mean they're going to change their plan. I still want that job. So my house still has to get sold. So you're going to start to see an increase in that because many agents are going to be pricing people's homes like it was last year, 2 years ago. And it's going to be priced incorrectly. So if you are a newer agent, make sure if you get a listing opportunity and you're unsure, you haven't run a bunch of comparables, Get with someone in your office that's seasoned and make sure that you price it correctly. All right. So you want to be ahead of the market, not behind the market. Okay. All right. We talked about number 6, properly marketed seller listings. They bring you more business. They bring you market share. Everybody okay with that? Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right. You see something right here. It says 7-step seller service cycle. All right. So number 1 is lead conversion. So the first thing, you've got to get some leads. The thing that's going to be really, really important to you guys in this market that we're going into, you have fewer qualified buyers that are in the market right now. With the Federal Reserve having raised interest rates 6 times last year, many people that used to qualify, they don't qualify anymore, or they qualify for a lot less. The other thing that's going on in the marketplace right now, that's going to be a big challenge for you guys. You're going to need to help people overcome fear. Fear is permeating the marketplace. Sellers are afraid. Their fear is, well, I won't be able to get enough for my house. Or, well, if I sell my house, then I would have to pay a lot more on any house that I buy. My interest rate now, right now is 3.75. And now you're talking about 6.75. I might as well stay here. And when you cut on TV, cut on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, cut on any of those. And what do you hear? You don't hear any good news about housing. There's never any good news about housing. So guess what? When they're at work, they're getting negativity. They're talking to some of their frat brothers, talking to some of their sorority sisters, talking to some of their friends. It's negative, 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 negative. You've got to learn to give perspective on the market and help people overcome their fears and recognize that fear is permeating the real estate market right now. That's one of the challenges for you. So on lead conversion, here's the other thing. So where I'm going with this is, it's not about how many people you talk to. It's about how many of those folks can you convert into an appointment. You're going to need to be appointment driven. Every week that goes by that you're doing real estate and you don't have appointments, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're out of business. Because you're not talking to anybody. You don't have any appointments. You don't even have the opportunity to make any money because there's no appointment. All right, general rule of thumb. I get asked this question. This is the world according to Tyrone. If you're someone that's looking to make at least, let's say you were looking to make, because here's what the average thing is whenever I'm coaching people, whether they're dual career or so-called, I don't really believe in this full-time and part-time stuff. I don't really believe in that. Because I know people that can come in the office and be in there for 3 hours and do more production than someone that's been in there 12 hours. So who's part-time and who's full-time? I'll let you be the judge. So what I would say to you on something like this, if you're looking to make, because the thing that I hear generally of what people want to make, the number generally that I always get is $100,000. That's the number I generally get. If I lump all of them in and all of them together, it's basically 6 figures. All right. Nobody can be really mad with 6 figures. So that's what I hear. All right. So if you want to make 6 figures, you need to run 2 to 3 appointments a week. I'd write that down. 2 to 3 appointments a week. Now, 3 appointments in a week is not a lot. I'll be honest with you, it's not. Some newer people might think that that's a lot. That's only 3 days out of 7 days. Now, we say 2 to 3, somebody's going to cancel on you anyway. So now you don't have 3 appointments. That happens all the time. Some of you that are on here now, you've already experienced that. And if you're in real estate long enough, that's going to happen to you. And a lot of times they don't even call you to tell you that they're not going to show up. Okay. All right. So you got a general rule on that. Now, just because you had the appointment, what else has to happen? What else has to happen is you're going to need to convert that into a signed buyer or seller agency agreement. If not, that person isn't your client. I have an agent right now, one of my coaching clients now. I was helping him track his numbers and looking at his numbers. And I saw, I think it was last week, he had three actually buyer appointments. And the buyer appointments were kept. However, when I looked in the column that said agency agreement signed, it was 0. So he met with 3 people and he didn't have any of the 3 authorize the agency agreement. So he has 3 people that are not his client. It was nice that you had an appointment. You had 3 appointments. I congratulated him on that. However, you gotta get those agency agreements authorized. You want the person to become a client. Go from a customer, unsigned, they're a customer. Customers you assist. Clients you represent, okay? All right, so let's go to step number 2, pre-listing. And we're gonna talk about this a little bit later. I'm just gonna go through the steps with you because they're gonna dig into this a little bit more. All right, number 3 is your listing. And what word does it say? It doesn't say presentation. It says listing what? What does it
Consultation.
say? Consultation. Be mindful of that. Don't get into saying, I'm going to go on a listing presentation. You want to position yourself and see yourself as a consultant. And a consultant asks questions. A consultant troubleshoots. All right, service and marketing. All right, after you've had the listing consultation, then guess what? What are you going to do to get their home sold? You're going to have to give some demonstration of that during your listing consultation. Why should they choose you? So you come out, you want me to put my home on the market with you. Okay, great. I liked everything you said. Okay, so what are you going to do to sell my house? Oh, and by the way, how much did you say you were going to charge me? Because we feel our house will probably, be around 500,000. And you said, how much was they're going to say commission, but we know we're going to use the word professional fee. Oh, it's 6%. Oh, okay. So on 500,000, that's $30,000 you want me to pay you? Okay. So what are you going to do for $30,000? I mean, if you were going to pay somebody $30,000, would you ask them what they're going to do? Yeah. You don't even have to nod your head. I know what the answer is. It's absolutely yes. All right, offers and negotiation. Hopefully the property is positioned correctly price-wise so that you start to get some offers in. Then they're going to need to be negotiated. Another skill that I would say that you want to work on, and I'm working on it with my coaching clients right now. One of them that I'm working with them on is how to get their offers that come in on any listings they have accepted by the seller. Because what you're going to start to see, buyers are going to now start making offers below the list price. This stuff of getting $25,000, $30,000 above the list price, that's slowly ebbing. So you're going to have some sellers that they have their house on for 500 and somebody offers them 480, 485, they're not going to want to take it. And in many cases, guess what? That's really where the market is. So they just turned down an offer that they should have accepted. And as an agent, you have to have the wherewithal and have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the market to help them see that they have a great offer that should be accepted. So offers and negotiation. I would recommend that you take a class on negotiation. I would definitely recommend that. Some of the community colleges offer it. It doesn't have to be a real estate negotiation. Just take a class on negotiation. Doesn't have to be real estate related. Why am I saying that to you? Because it can take you a long way when you have any type of certification or piece of paper that says that you're a skilled, trained negotiator. So let me ask you this. You're in the bank to cash your check. And while you're in the bank to cash your check, somebody comes in and decides they're going to rob the bank. They're going to hold everybody in the bank hostage, including you. and the police show up and the robbers, bank robbers, haven't gotten out of the bank. So they tell the police they're going to hold everybody in the bank hostage. And then the police say, we're going to send in a negotiator to talk to the bank robbers. They've had no training in negotiation. They've had no training in hostage, people being held hostage, and they're going to be the ones to negotiate to save your life. Versus someone that's a skilled, trained negotiator that's done this, that's taken the training, that has a certification. If your life was on the line, who would you want? So that can help you a lot, being trained in negotiation. And when you can prove that and show that to somebody, well, let me ask you this, because I know you said you talked to 2 other agents that said that they would put your home on the market. Okay. And just out of curiosity, how many of those 2 agents were skilled, trained negotiators and had taken classes in negotiating to help sellers like yourself get the most money? Oh, neither one of them. Oh, okay. So who do you think would stand the greatest chance of putting the most money in your pocket? A skilled, trained negotiator, someone that's taken the courses, taken the time to be able to offer that to their clients, someone like me. So who would you probably go with? And a lot of times that can be used in reverse. It could be used against you if you have not taken negotiation. So again, this is a business. You need skills for this. The other thing too, the market that we're transitioning into, I'm glad to see you guys on here. And I know some of you are real newer agents. We've transitioned into a skill-based market. This is not luck anymore. We're in a skill-based market. The luck was last year when everybody wanted to buy a house. Now you got to find somebody that wants to buy a house. You have to find somebody that wants to sell a house. The hardest thing last year was just hoping that your offer could be accepted from one of the 10 offers that the seller may have had. Now you got to even find somebody that wants to make an offer. You with me? You got to have skills. The other thing that I would highly recommend too, if your market center, if they offer any type of scripting class, conversational scripting, I would be in it. Just thinking you get your natural gift of gab is going to work for you, your raw charisma, it might get you over sometime. This, you got to be able to handle objections, because people are going to be throwing objections in this market. This isn't a rollover market. So I would look at making sure that I'm script practicing. A good person for you to look at too would be the James Shaw pivot. James Shaw is a Keller Williams, I don't know how many market centers he owns. I believe he's on at, is it 7:30 in the morning? Just go to the Facebook page. He's got a Facebook page, James Shaw Pivot. He's very good. Very
Pivot
good.
shift call.
Somebody said it.
Pivot shift call.
There we go. Who gave me that?
Stephanie.
Stephanie, okay, I got an assistant working with me today. Beautiful.
And from 7:30 to 8 is like warm up, and then 8 to 8:30 is when it goes live on Facebook.
All right. She gave you the 411. All right, thanks, Stephanie. Have you enjoyed it?
Tremendously. I've gotten so much out of it. I get ideas of what to do, and it works. It's people from all over the country, all different skill, all different years in business. It's
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and he's a great instructor and a great coach. All right, number 6, contract to close. All right, so what's going to happen from the time that the contract comes in? Your contracts don't magically go to settlement. Somebody's got to get them there. Some agents write purchase agreements and they never close, they lose them. So guess what? You need to have a checklist to bulletproof your transaction. So once you get an actual offer on it and you get a contract, then what are the steps that are going to take me to closing? Because missing some of those steps can be the difference between closing and losing a transaction. Let's think about it. If you had a property and it was $400,000, and let's just say the co-op commission on it was 2.5%, then that's $10,000 that just got lost. No, these don't magically go to settlement. You have to be on top of your transaction and get it to closing. All right, post-close systems. So what happens after you close with that individual? You want to be able to do business with them again. So are they getting, after closing, are they on any type of a campaign? Are they on any type of preferred client list where you do little niceties for them here or there, where they may get a gift card for some gas or for Starbucks, or depending on who that person is, maybe you invited them to a game or something. I don't know. What is it that you do? All right, so are we good? Steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7-step seller cycle. Any ahas from that? Any ahas from anything that we've just talked about tonight? Any questions before we move on? Anybody got any questions?
What was the Facebook group again?
I'm
I
sorry.
just want to find a negotiation class.
Check any of the community colleges. Google is your friend. See if your office may be offering anything as well. But having that little certification, because most of those are like little one-day classes, like 3 hours or something. I've taken them a couple of times, and I was with another real estate brokerage, and the instructor was very good. He had some great handouts and some great material as well. But find a negotiation class and take that. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. You'll get a lot of mileage out of it. A lot of mileage.
Can you put
All
in
right.
the chat what's the name of that Facebook group again?
It was
I'll put it in chat.
okay. It's gonna get
All right.
dropped in. She's
Thank
gonna
you.
drop it in the chat. And that's because the guy is James Shaw, S-H-A-W, James Shaw. He does Pivot, and it's gonna be dropped in the chat. It'll be in there in a second. So jump in there. All right. Keys to converting your A sellers. Respond right away to lead inquiries. Here's one of the things I see a lot. You got to remember this. The longer you wait to get back to a lead, the colder the lead gets. I see real estate agents lose more leads because they don't follow up promptly and they don't have a follow-up system. In your successful daily routine, in your day, part of your day should be spent on lead generation, which means looking for new business, and follow-up. Follow-up is not looking for new business. Follow-up is following up on the new business you brought in the door. And some agents confuse lead generation with follow-up. They're two separate things. Follow-up, you already have an existing, you've already spoken to this person, and you already have communicate with them. Typically on lead generation, it's new business. It's bringing new business in the door. And many agents will tell you that are right in your market center. They'll tell you the stories of where they've lost business. And any of us that have been in the business a long time, I'll raise my hand. I've done it and lost business because I didn't get back to somebody promptly. Or either I wrote the lead down on a piece of paper somewhere and 3 hours later, I don't even know where it is. I'll tell you a story, which is, I hate to even tell the story because you might be like, well, why is he on here? I'll tell you a story. I'll never forget, I was at a company and at the time they had what was called floor duty. A lot of agents hate that. However, I was on floor duty and this person called in and they were from what they said, they appeared to be well qualified. And they wanted to buy a house and it was a nice payday. Should you get this and close this? And I wrote it, I was at the front desk. Another agent was at the front desk. So we're talking, going back and forth and back and forth. The shift times were for 3 hours. We get off of floor duty, I go back to my desk, I'm doing something, I'm back in the back. And about 3 hours later, I was like, oh yeah, that lady, I need to put her in my database. So I'm looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, and I can't find the phone number from somebody that appears to be qualified and wants to buy a nice sales priced house. Well, guess what I had done? I had written her phone number on a piece of paper. And when I left the front desk, I balled up the piece of paper and I had thrown it in the trash. And I didn't remember it until the next day. So I just lost that money. So on your leads, you want to start getting your leads into command right away. Start building your command. Do not keep your leads in your head and on pieces of paper. You need a system. Let me repeat that to you again. You need a system. Your head is not the system. Okay. All right. Get valid and complete contact information. Save it to command and create an opportunity. Because then you know who to get back to. Get as much complete information as possible. Now, some people won't give you everything right away, especially if it's someone that you don't have a prior relationship with. Anytime you're going to work your leads, I would give you this tip. If I'm in command and I have Amber's name up, and I have Amber in there as a lead, and I have just Amber's phone number. Now I'm calling her today. So I'm going to look at, because Amber, I'm going to see her on the screen in terms of her name in command. I'm going to look at that quickly and I'm going to see where the holes are. So guess what? I don't have Amber's email. So as we talk and we go through that conversation, hey, Amber, look, I know you said that you're thinking about possibly buying, and you know, right now the interest rates are fluctuating. And what I'd like to do, as soon as I get an alert on any decrease in the rates, what's the best email address, Amber, to send that to you? All right. Now, I didn't ask her. I didn't say, Amber, can I have your email address? I didn't say
Right.
that.
Right.
I gave her a reason that she should give me her email address.
She
with me?
wants to.
So that's a technique. And that technique is called the fair trade. So I'm going to give you something if you give me something, as opposed to me saying, oh, Amber, I don't have your email address. What's your email address? Well, I don't want people sending me a lot of stuff, Teron. I get too many emails as it is now. No. Okay. The other thing I might notice is that I might not have her home address. So, hey, Amber, I have a VIP platinum client list. And from time to time, I send out lots of little surprises, some little gifts from time to time, some great tips and some discounts on services that people use every day. And wait a minute, I can't send you one because, Amber, I don't have your home address. What is that? Okay. All right. So again, fair trade with people. Just don't ask for stuff. Come from contribution. We good with that? Come from contribution. All right. We're going to keep going. All right. So we talked about the command thing. Oh, the other thing too, let me say this to you. I would highly recommend that you guys really see this, that you guys are running a business, not selling real estate. There's a difference between selling real estate and running a business. Because a lot of people get caught up with this of showing houses. I'm showing houses. Oh, I like how houses are decorated. I watch the HGTV. Okay, that's cool. But can you keep a schedule and can you run a business? This is about running a business. So what I would suggest to you is run it out of command. I tell my coaching clients, they should be in command every day. Because you want to know where your money is. Your money should be in command. So guess what? I want to stay in touch with my money. What was the movie Jerry Maguire? And the famous catchphrase in Jerry Maguire was what? Show me the money. What I say is, follow the money. Follow the money. If you're not putting those folks in command, Your money is escaping you. You put them in command, you can follow your money. You can have an idea of what type of income you're going to have for the month of February. What are you going to have for the month of March, April, May? So operate out of command. Get in the habit of operating it out of command. This is me saying this to you. It shouldn't be where you guys are in command once a month, twice a month. If you're really running a business, you should be in command every day. Now, how long you're in there, that's up to you. However, I would just recommend to you that you are in command, because now you're running a business. All right. And just think about this. At some point, you may decide to get out of real estate. Well, if you had, I don't know, let's say you had 750 contacts in command, 500 contacts in command. Could you sell those? Absolutely. Now you got a business. You don't have that, what you got to sell? I'm not buying something from somebody on scraps of paper. Yeah, I've been in real estate for 10 years. I was really successful. Oh, great. You know what? Since you're getting out of the business, I'd love to talk to you about maybe buying your book of business. Oh, really? Yeah. So just out of curiosity, you said you've been in the business 10 years. Where do your past clients reside? I got some boxes in my garage, and I have some appointment books, and I have some sticky notes, and I have some file folders. So you'd be willing to buy those? Well, yeah, maybe at 10 cents on the dollar. All right, so guess what? I've actually got clients that are in a database with names, phone numbers, and addresses. Would you be willing to buy those? Absolutely. That's worth at least 50 cents on the dollar, 60 cents on the dollar. Okay? All right, so make sure you're putting your people in command. Next, number 4, set an appointment, time and date for as soon as possible and send a pre-list package. Stay away from setting appointments far times out. You came across the lead today for someone that wants to sell. Well, you know what? Why don't we do this? Let's get together, because let's see, I got some things going on this weekend, but we could get together next weekend and I could come out and talk to you about selling your house. Not this weekend, but next weekend. You got to strike while the iron is hot. People do things a lot of times built on emotion. And sometimes that emotion subsides. I can give you an example. I never forget, there was a certain car I wanted. And at the time, I couldn't even afford the car. It was a dream. It was like when you take Bold or you take one of these courses and they say, do a vision board. The car was on, my vision board was my refrigerator. So I had a picture of the car on the refrigerator because I could not afford the car. And I wanted that car and wanted that car and wanted that car. And finally, one day I was in traffic and I was at the stoplight and I looked over and saw a friend of mine that started in real estate at the same time I did. And when I looked over, he was driving a white Mercedes. And it made me want that car even more because we both started real estate at the same time. And I look over and Mike is driving this white Mercedes. Now, the car I wanted at the time was a Lexus. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get that. I went to the car dealership and the sales rep met me, the whole thing, and blah, 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 blah. Did all of her little qualifying stuff and test drove the car. And she was decent because she sold me with the dream. So, Tyrone, can't you see yourself, driving back from buyer showing, and it's winter, the snow is lightly falling, and the buyer is sitting in the heated seats as you have the music playing softly in the background, as you discuss the merits of closing on the house that they've just seen. And I was like, yes, 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 yes. I mean, she had me. I was all into it. She painted the picture. I was there. She said, what color do you want? And I think at the time it was, I believe it was black or something. So she said, well, right now we don't have any black ones on the lot. She said, but we can get it from another dealer. This was a Tuesday. Now, mind you, the car I'm driving at the time was a Toyota Corolla that was paid for. No car payment. So she said, we'll have the car in for you on Friday. I leave the dealership, walk across the parking lot, get into my Toyota, my little red Toyota Corolla, and I drive back to my office. Then guess what? I start thinking about what the monthly payment would be, because now I don't have a payment. So I'm buying the new Lexus and I'm thinking about the payment. Wednesday comes. I'm like, really? Do I really want that type of payment? Thursday comes. I'm not even thinking about the car that much anymore. Friday comes and she calls me. Tyrone, we have the car. It's here. We have it in. It's been prepped for you. They've washed the car. They put the pinstriping on. And I actually threw in these upgraded floor mats for you. What time are you coming to pick up the car? And I said, you know, I gave this some more thought and I don't even think I'm gonna get the car. What? You're not gonna come in. But Tyrone, you qualify and the car is sitting here, it's prepped for you, it's all ready. But what happened was there was too much time from the time that I went to the dealership to Friday. And she made a basic salesperson mistake. What she should have done, it didn't matter about the color of the car, just put me in one of those cars till the car comes in. You had other colored cars on the lot, it's still a Lexus. So if I'm driving around and go to my neighborhood, my friends see me in there, oh man, that's you. Yeah, that's me. You look good in that car. Let me hear this, let me hear the sound system. Oh wow, look at this, how big the sunroof is. I'm not taking that car back. My friends, everybody will see me. So again, you got to strike while the iron is hot. So schedule the appointment as soon as possible. Don't put it off in the future. Another thing, I was working with one of my coaching clients today on this one. I don't know how many times this has been taught over and over and over, and I'm still not seeing a lot of agents do it. It's what's called a pre-listing package. A lot of agents are not doing that. And her question today, when I sat with her today, she didn't see a need for it. And then she also asked me, well, what's the difference in a pre-listing package and your listing consultation? It's two different things. One thing, a pre-listing package is designed to set you apart. The pre-listing package is designed to set you apart from other agents. And many agents don't use a pre-listing package because some agents don't want to take the time to put it together and they don't see the value of it. It's very valuable. Think about it. Let's say you were calling expired listings or for sale by owner. And other people are contacting these folks as well. So a lot of times when you're the only one that has done a pre-listing package, it sets you apart from everyone else. Because none of the other people can say that they did that, right? They can't say that they did that. So immediately you're different than anyone else. The pre-list package pre-sells you prior to your appointment. It pre-sells you. It cuts down the amount of time that you would even be on the listing consultation. Plus, it warms them up to you. Okay? That's like when you go to a concert. The headliner, okay, Charity raised her hand. Okay, I'm gonna hit you. The headliner doesn't come out first. Everybody is all in a tether about the Beyonce concert. People are doing everything they can. I was hearing it in my office today. A couple of people got tickets for Beyonce. Man, it went crazy in here. It went crazy. So when you go to the Beyonce concert in DC, is Beyonce gonna come out first? No. You're gonna have some minor acts that are gonna perform before Beyonce. You're gonna have somebody that's gonna be the MC. You're gonna have probably a little comedian to get you all in a little laughy mood and get you upbeat and get you warmed up and get you friendly. Then they're gonna give you another little person that's gonna come on and sing a couple of songs and you flowing and you vibing and building up the anticipation to Beyonce. So this is where you're building up their anticipation of you. Y'all with me? No? Okay, y'all don't seem too enthused. I'm telling you, boy.
I have two questions.
Yes. Is this
One.
Christy?
Well,
I know
One,
Christy has something.
no, this is Therese.
Go ahead.
Yeah, one, what do you put in that pre-listing package? Number two, I think usually the list is like, oh, I talk to you, I'm coming, the next day or sometimes the same day, So when do you have time between the time you are meeting and the time of the pre-listing package? How do you arrange that?
Because what you would, okay, great question. Because what you would do is you wouldn't develop one, you would develop 5 of them and you have them on the shelf ready to go. Now, what's in it? Typically what's going to be in it, you want to have something that's a little brief bio on you.
Okay.
You want to have something about your brokerage, about your company. You may have something specifically on the market center that you're out of. Maybe your market center sells 1 out of every 5 homes in that particular area. You want to have something because no agent is going to be bigger than Keller Williams. No matter what company you're with, no agent is bigger than RE/MAX, they're not bigger than Weichert, they're not bigger than Long and Foster, they're not bigger than whoever. No agent is bigger than their company. You're just not. People know the company name more than whoever, you are. So that shows the validity and the power and the bigness of your company. So that would be something that would be in there. You would have something on some of the things that you do in terms of when you have a seller's home, some of the things that you do. You would have maybe some tips on what sells a home. So pricing, condition, okay? Then you may have some seller homework in there. So when I come out, guess what? I'm gonna need 2 sets of keys. Do you have a copy of your 1-800 number with the mortgage lender so I can order the payoff? Do you have a copy of your the plat? Do you have a copy of your plat map? So I'm gonna give them some homework. Because sometimes here's what happens. One of the things that's really, really a lot of fun is when you give them homework and you give them a call to follow up with them prior to your appointment. And then they say to you, well, yeah, we're looking forward to you coming out. And yeah, we have those 2 sets of keys for you. So what is that telling you?
It's done deal.
Yep,
They're
they've
gonna
already
list with
hired
you.
you.
They're gonna list with you. You haven't even done any consultation. So that pre-list package can be extremely powerful. Okay, so you want to deliver that, have it delivered. I would say, I want to get it out there at least, it depends on when the appointment is scheduled, but I want it out there prior to the appointment. And I don't want it real lengthy. I want it short. I want like no more than, at best, 12 pages, maybe 15, because people aren't going to read a lot of stuff. So I'm not sending out a phone book from back in the day. All you're doing is whetting their appetite. Why should they meet with you? Y'all with me?
Yes.
And one of the best things that you can have, I see they say 2 participants raised their hand. Okay. One of the best things you can have is on the front of that pre-list package is a picture of their home, your face down there in the corner somewhere, and sold on it. People love seeing their house. And with sold on it, I want to sell it. You're giving me something that's showing my house and it has the word sold. So you're taking me to the end result and I never even met you.
I love it.
So believe me, I'm feeling you. Versus another agent that didn't send anything. Don't shortcut the process. Don't shortcut the process. I mean, we're talking legitimate money here. And we just said on a $400,000 house, even if it was at a 2.5, that's $10,000 a pop. I'm not getting into your split and what it is and this and this and that. It's money that you didn't have, right? So for that, to make that type of money to go out and be in somebody's house for an hour, also it shortens the amount of time that you'll be on that listing consultation. Because now you don't have to go out there and go through all of that. They already got that, right? So I don't have to sit there and tell you how wonderful I am, how wonderful Keller Williams is, give you tips on how the house should be positioned to sell it, because I gave you that stuff up front. So now I can get right into the meat and the potatoes of this. All right, so somebody raised their hand. Who else? It was somebody I see. I got something in the chat. So I got
Charity.
Charity. Yeah, you had raised your hand earlier. What's going on, Charity?
I was going to ask where I could find an example of a pre-listing agreement. An actual, like,
Well, it's not what you want to do is you can go into the design library. You can go into the design library
in command.
And remember, you guys can customize it. It's whatever you want to make it. You select the pages.
Okay.
And what I would do is I would customize my package based on my conversation with based on my conversations with the people. So I would customize it based on that. Let's say that I talk to somebody and they tell me they want to move to Florida. So if you tell me you want to move to Florida, oh, wow, I'll role play with you, Charity. Okay, so Charity, you're the person that wants to move to Florida. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Charity, wow, that sounds, you said you're moving to Florida?
Yes, that's my goal.
Wow, that's exciting. Just out of curiosity, what part of Florida, Charity?
I'm going near Orlando.
Oh, you're going down there in Mickey Land, huh?
Of course.
Wow, wow. Do you have any children that would enjoy that?
Nieces and nephews.
Oh, nieces and nephews. Okay. How long has that been a goal for you?
Last 10 years.
Wow. Okay, so I guess on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being the highest, where would you rate your motivation in getting to Orlando?
I'm at about a 9 now.
A 9. Wow. What would make it a 10?
If you find me the perfect house.
Okay. All right. That shouldn't be a problem. You know what? When was the last time you were in Orlando?
It's probably been about 10 years.
About 10 years. Hey, you wouldn't be offended if when I come out, if I shared some information with you with the 10 hottest places to visit in Orlando and the 10 top restaurants in Orlando. You wouldn't be offended if I gave you that information, would you, Charity?
Of course not.
Okay. All right. So when I come out, I'm going to share that information with you. And I want you to look out for my pre-listing package. And I'm going to have my concierge deliver that to your home tomorrow between 4 and 7. They'll leave it right there at the front door. And it'll be in it's a real colorful box. It'll be inside the box.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right. So I look forward to making sure that you get that. And then, of course, we're scheduled to actually have our listing consultation on Saturday. And you said between 5 and 7 would work for you?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, beautiful. So I look forward to having the opportunity to see you then. And I'm kind of jealous because that Florida this time of year would really look nice up here. So I'll see you on Saturday. Okay, whatever. All right. Okay. So I role played it with her. All right. Now, on that, my pre-list package would probably look a little different because in my pre-list package, probably what she would wind up seeing would be probably something pertaining to Orlando. So when she gets my package, there's going to be something in there about Orlando because I know what she wants to do.
Of course.
And it may have in there, I may even have a gift certificate for her for one of those top restaurants in Orlando. I might have a discount coupon for something. I don't have to pick up the whole meal. Hey, if she got $20 off, she'd be happy. It's free. And would she know that I know what she wants to do? Yes or no?
That's good.
And specifically, because when she said Florida, the next question I asked was where? Most agents aren't going to ask that. So where are you moving to? Florida. Oh, I had this today with a coaching client. It was so funny. She lives over on the Eastern Shore. And we were role playing earlier today. And she was role playing with me and I was the prospect. and she asked me, where was I moving to? And I said, oh, I'm moving to Tampa. So she said, oh, okay. So if I could show you how you could sell your house and get the most amount of money in the least amount of time, then you want me to talk to you, right? And I said to her, I said, you weren't even excited for me. You didn't even say, wow, Tampa? Wow, or Florida? Oh, Tampa? None of that. She just went right in for the kill. What's the saying? What's the one about people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care? That's real. That's real. People have emotions. It's not all about the dollar. So come from contribution. All right. So
And-
pre-list
and-
package, I would
and
have a number of
Tyrone?
them already made up, ready to go.
And Tyrone,
Yes,
I think when you react to what people say, it shows them that you're listening.
that's huge. Yep, absolutely. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's a skill that's kind of lost in sales. It's listening. It's really listening to what people are saying. There's a difference between hearing and listening. Difference between hearing and listening. Go back to your childhood. Go back to any time that you were somewhere with your mom and you was just acting out. You was just acting a fool. You're in the grocery store, getting all upset, reaching out the shopping cart for stuff, putting it in the shopping cart. And your mom was like, no, put that back. I want so-and-so. And then your mom says to you, are you listening to me? And a lot of times the child will say, yeah, mommy, I hear you. Yeah, mommy, I hear you. And a lot of times the mom will say, no, are you listening to me? Because if you were listening to me, you'd cut that foolishness out like now. Not hearing me, are you listening to me? And that's like that's a skill. That's a real skill. Because if you listen to people, people give you everything you need to close them. If you listen. But most of the time as salespeople, we're busy talking. We're figuring out what we're going to say next. So I can't listen to you if I'm figuring out what I'm going to say to you next. Jump on James Shaw. You'll get that. You'll pick that up on James Shaw. You'll pick that up. All right, let's keep pushing. All right, what's the next one? Let me see what I got. All right, on this one. What is it? What sellers want most from their agent? Help them price the home competitively. So you got to know how to run comps. So take the classes on that. Help the seller market the home to potential buyers. Help sell the home within a specific time frame. We talked about that. Help the seller find ways to fix up the home to sell it for more. All right, we talked about that. All right, 7 close to appointment tactics. Show the benefits. All right, so what is this person wants to sell? What are the benefits for them to sell? Learn your different types of closes. There are different types of closes. The take back close. Well, Mrs. Charity, I know that you said that you would want more money, and certainly I could come out and we could put it on for that. But however, probably what's going to happen is you're probably not going to wind up selling that home if you want to price it there. So I don't know whether it would be the best thing for you to do. Now, I could list it, but I don't think that it's going to sell at that. All right. So you could give them something, take it back. Negative, positive close. So it's, well, you know what? Certainly we could reject this offer and continue to keep the home on the market. Or if you were to accept this offer, guess what? Your home would be sold and you would be moving to Orlando. So negative, if you do this, you're going to be right here where you are. Positive, if you were to do this, you'll be able to achieve your dream or give them what they're looking for. So Charity, if I could help you get that home sold at a price that's agreeable to you in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle, then you would take action with me. Is that right? So give them what they're looking for. So if I can do what you want, would you, whatever, trial close. Oh, okay. So, you know, Emily, when I come over, one of the things that I would like you to do is have 2 sets of keys ready for me, Emily. And also, let me know if you have your mortgage payoff statement. Now, Emily could resist that. She could fight it. Or she could say, oh, sure, no problem. Now, has she authorized any paperwork? No. But did I attempt to close her? Yes. So I used a trial close. An assumptive close. Oh, okay. So now that you've given me, I'm at the appointment. So thanks so much for the keys, Emily. So now that we have the keys, why don't you go ahead and authorize the paperwork so that I can go ahead and get a sign up for you this weekend and we start getting some traffic through. Did she say she was going to list? No. But she gave me the keys. So I'm not going to sit there and talk her out of it. She just gave me the keys. Well, Emily, I know you gave me the keys, but wait a minute. I got a lot of stuff I need to go over with you. So let's go, Emily, over these comps one by one. Emily, okay, thanks so much for the keys. So Emily, why don't you go ahead and authorize the paperwork and let me get a sign up for you and put me to work for you. Every person you talk to doesn't need the whole dog and pony show. Okay. All right, and I just did a tie down, which is, so why don't you go ahead and let me go ahead and go to work for you. Tie downs are questions that promote agreement following a short declarative statement. Isn't that what you want? So Emily, isn't that what you want? Don't you think we should go ahead and do that, Emily? That does make sense, doesn't it, Emily? Okay, Emily, why don't we go ahead and do the right thing? It does make sense, doesn't it, Emily? Okay, so Roy, I really think that that's what we really should do. Don't you? Those are tie downs. Most salespeople are going to talk and 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 talk. You need to see if that person is agreeing with you. Do they have any objections? Do they have any questions? You'll never know it if you don't ask questions. Use tie downs, okay? All right, questions versus objections. When a question is asked, answer it. So Tyrone, what are the interest rates right now? Well, I think the interest rates right now fluctuating anywhere from maybe, I'd say maybe 6.25% to maybe 6.75%. When an objection comes up, address it. Oh, that's way too high. I couldn't, no, Tyrone, 6.75. Okay, that's okay. We're just we're gonna stay. Okay, I can certainly appreciate that. Just out of curiosity, let me ask you this, because the interest rates are fluctuating. Well, let me ask you this. Are you more concerned, Denise, with what the interest rate is or what your monthly investment would be? Which one, Denise?
I'd be more worried about the interest rate.
Not your monthly investment that you would be paying monthly? Most people are going to say whatever they're paying monthly.
Well, the
Majority of
interest
people-
rate's gonna affect won't the interest rate affect the,
It will, but here's what I'm going to do. As a real estate agent, I don't want to stay in an interest rate conversation with you if I don't have to. And the reason being, none of us on this Zoom can change the interest rate, right? None of us can change the interest rate. I don't have the power to change the interest rate. You don't have the power to change the interest rate. So I want to move that conversation because you can't win that conversation.
got it.
What most people are worried about is what they are going to be paying monthly. If you went to the car dealership and you wanted to get a BMW 735i, and you went there and you talked to the salespeople and they told you, they said, well, I'm glad you love the car. And actually we have it in the exact color that you want. And you said, well, how much would the payment be? Well, the payment on this would be $925. Ooh, $925? Yeah. No, I can't do that. Well, just out of curiosity, what type of monthly would be a monthly that would work for you for this luxury vehicle? Well, maybe $795. $795 for this vehicle. Wow. Well, let me ask you this. If I could get you close to that $795, would you drive the car off the lot today? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, let me see what I'm able to do for you. Boom, 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 boom. You know they're gonna give you the BS and go back, talk to their manager stuff and all that stuff. You know the stuff that all of y'all been to a car dealership. You know the games they play. All right, then they're gonna come back. Well, I couldn't get you $795, but I could get you like $820. Would that work for you? I don't know. All right, hold on. Let me go back. Look, I can get it for you at $800 even if you're driving the car off the lot today. Would that work for you? Yeah, that would work. Now, am I having a discussion about what the hell the interest rate is? No. You ain't sitting there, the person ain't sitting there talking to the salesperson about what the interest rate is. Anytime you buy a car, you're interested in what you're going to do what? Pay monthly. Now, those payments might be spread out over 9 years, but I don't know. But the bottom line is, guess what? It's a payment that you can handle. So what I'm saying to you is don't get into, a lot of agents start discussing interest rates and going back and forth, and especially over the phone. That's not a winning conversation. Running numbers with people over the phone, people get confused and it can just get all blown up. So just work with people on what their monthly investment is. All right.
Got it.
All right, let's see where we at. What's next?
Tyrone, wouldn't
Yes.
that be something that they would talk to their mortgage person with? Like, wouldn't that be a better conversation for the mortgage person?
Absolutely. And who is this? Is it Christy? Or who?
Okema.
Okema. Okay, so Okema, I know you're concerned about your monthly investment. So why don't I do this? Because I know you want a real answer to that. Why don't I do this? I don't mind. Let me go ahead and three-way in my mortgage loan officer because she's more qualified to address that area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So again, she has that question. I'm a three-way in my mortgage loan officer. I can do that like immediately because that's going to move that transaction along. Also, if you notice, one of the other things I did is I hit her with a tie down. Does that make sense? Is that all right? Isn't that something we should do? And she agreed. I got her agreement. So these are things that you would learn to be, this stuff isn't happenstance. This is things you've practiced to get to that point. This isn't luck.
You make it look so easy.
Yeah,
But yeah, he says years of practice, right?
absolutely. So that's where you want to get to. This is part of what you do, right? All right, so we were talking about the pre-listing package. You want to get that out a few days prior to your appointment. We talked about what went in it, the components of it. You don't want it real lengthy. All right, you want to make sure you give them some seller homework as well. All right, now let's look at this. This is what's called you'll hear this with Keller Williams a lot. Some of you have already heard it. It's called going from E to P, entrepreneurial to purposeful. So right now, if you are a newer agent, number one would be your focus. What are you focused on? Number two would be your models. The model that we're talking about right now is the one I gave you earlier, which is on page in your, we talked about in your MREA. I believe that was page number, what did I give you? I wrote it down somewhere.
97.
97. All right, and that was leads, listing, leverage. Leads, listing, leverage. The other thing that I'm working with coaching clients on right now, here's one tip that I would really give you guys and say, take it to heart. Whatever you're going to do, wherever you feel your leads are going to come from, whether you're an agent that's going to do open houses, you're going to work your sphere of influence, which is your database. You're going to do circle prospecting, which is calling around listings or either sales that have been made by your office to let the community know about that and see who may be interested in doing a real estate transaction. If you're calling expired listings, if you're calling for sale by owners, if you're calling for rent by owners, then guess what? You got to put a system behind it. Most people are going to one-off everything. And the one-off is going to be the initial phone call, and that's it. There won't be any system behind it. You're fortunate that you're with Keller Williams. Gary Keller spent over $45 million to develop Command. And one of the reasons he did it was so that real estate agents aren't having to go out and get a lot of outside, what they call bolt, B-O-L-T, bolt-on technology, where you're using something off the shelf, off of what's one of the computer store? Best, what's the thing? Best, what's the name of it? Best, what is it? Best,
Best Buy.
Best Buy. And you're buying stuff off the shelf. Gary is saying, no, I'm going to make everything compatible for you guys so that you guys don't have to go spend $40 a month for this, $60 a month for this, $110 a month for this, $34 for this. I'm going to have it right here. So you want to put a system behind everything you do. You got to put a system behind it, not one-offs, because that's not sustainable. So what do I mean by a system? Just briefly. So if I'm working, I don't know, let's say you was working, I don't know, expired listings. All right, so if I'm working expired listings, I'm going to have a campaign behind that. So I'm going to have my initial phone calls. I know some people are going to be on the do not call list. I cannot call them. So guess what? I've got to have some type of a mailing campaign. And then I may have a, where I go out and I door knock that person. So day one might be a letter. Day two might be, or day 7 might be a different letter. Day 10 may be, I went out and I door knocked it. So I'm gonna have a campaign and a system behind it. That's where you get the sustainability. When you don't have systems, everything is one-off and random. It's not going to happen consistently. What your challenge is going to be, and it's not really that hard, because I'm working with some coaching clients right now on that. That's what we're working on really hard. And it's to help them put together their system for whatever they are doing. Any of those areas that I mentioned to you. Like I just had while I was in here coaching with you guys on Ignite, one of my coaching clients came in the door and dropped something off to me on the desk, and I just picked it up. I just happened to have it in my hand. Here, let me see. Let me make sure I can skim through it real quick and make sure it's okay to read this to you. That's something that I can read to you. She has on here, it says, to whom it may concern. I noticed your home was previously up for sale and unfortunately was unsuccessful in finding a buyer. I wanted to introduce myself because I specialize in working with properties that didn't sell the first time. And I use a creative method to ensure a successful sale when we partner together. Often a home doesn't sell because of the time of year, pricing, or the level of marketing your previous agent did. I would love to meet with you to show you through my marketing plan, which will have a breakdown of everything I will do to make sure your home sells in today's market. I've taken the time to review the details of your home and educate myself on how sales are doing in your neighborhood. And I'm convinced I would be able to sell your home without any issues. Please contact me to set up an appointment. I would like to introduce myself to you in person and provide you with a fully detailed comparative report, as well as my marketing guide. I can discuss your needs, and I look forward to helping you achieve the goals you had in mind when you first decided to sell. Sincerely, and then she has her name. All right, this is only one part of her system. This isn't that she just has this and this is it, because a lot of times they're not going to respond to that or respond the first time. So she has a system. So I would highly recommend. That's what takes you through to the next levels. That's how you break through your natural ceiling of achievement, by going from being entrepreneurial. You know, we all want to just do what naturally comes natural to us. However, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you're always comfortable, you're not being challenged. Because you're just doing things the way you want to do it. You're not having to stretch. You're not having to grow, right? People want to change their circumstances. However, they're unwilling to change themselves. Therefore, they remain bound. Dr. Richard Allen. All right. First pastor of AME Church. One of his quotes. People want to change their circumstances. We all want to change our circumstances. Okay, now what you going to do about it? What are you going to do? How are you going to change yourself? So if you want to change your circumstances, you got to change yourself. Because in real estate, what's the other piece? Your real estate business grows to the extent that you do. Your business will never outgrow you. You good? Hopefully. All right.
Yeah, it
we're
sounds
here.
like accountability. No, I was about to say, it sounds like you're just saying we gotta take accountability. Yeah.
Yeah, self-accountability. All right. I'm not gonna go through all of the pre-list package because I think I went through that with you guys and gave you some of that we already talked about, saving you time. Demonstrate your value as well. We talked about that. I'm not gonna go through all of that. They're giving you a little sample. Now remember, you can get your pre-list package by going to the design library in Command. And you select whatever you want. It should look like the way that you want it to look like. And if I were you, I would do something to make my package not look like everybody else's. And again, we went over that little role play that we did with that person that was moving to Florida. Then my thing is going to be different. I'm going to be creative. And that's one of the beauties of being in real estate is your creativity can make you thousands of dollars. And I know a lot of you on here are creative people. Some of you enjoy that. And I'm a creative person. So I'm creative and I'm competitive. And probably let me ask you this. So if I had to ask you, what is my DISC profile? What would you say my DISC is? If you had to guess a letter on the DISC profile, D-I-S-C, what would you say my DISC is? Any of y'all, anybody hip to the DISC profile? Nah, y'all ain't hip. Okay.
I want to
taking
say
too
it's
long.
C.
Huh?
I want to say it's C, but I can't remember what the names for each one are.
Yeah, that was me too. I don't.
See? No,
Yeah, I'm going with C.
Uh-uh.
Not a C. Not a C.
I'll do word. I'm all the way on the
D.
other end of the spectrum. I'm a
D.
D. I'm a D. A very high D. Y'all can't tell? Because I speak
Yes.
rapidly. That's one right there for a D. A D speaks rapidly. A D is more energetic. A D doesn't like their time wasted. A D makes decisions quick. Okay. All right. All
No
right.
one's gonna share what they all count for.
Huh?
The disc. I want to know what they all mean.
A D is
Google
more of
it.
somebody that's like dominant. Like dominant type of a person. They're gonna
Right,
take
well,
control of
that's the letter.
situations. Typically they take controls of situations. They typically gonna lead something.
Mhm.
They're not real follower type people. They're gonna be the one to lead it and have the other people follow it.
I see.
It's not a real estate thing then, it's like a
It's a-
life
it's a-
thing?
It's a behavioral trait.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not
Google-
familiar either.
Google it.
Yeah. An
Google
I
it.
is someone that's an influencer. An I is a life of the party person. Like some of y'all have friends that you know that if you go out with that particular friend, you know you're gonna have a good time. Because your friend is not gonna allow it to go any other way because that's who they are. They're typically the life of the party person. They're typically the person that has high energy. They're the person that makes like a lot of jokes and conversation. They're always laughing. They're always keeping things fun. Any of y'all got friends like that? It could be you. You could be an I. A S. A S is somebody that's real steady. They're real steady people. They don't like confrontation. They don't like to rock the boat on things. They want to evaluate things. They make decisions based on fact. They don't make decisions based on feeling. So if you were going to go talk to a person that's an S on a listing appointment, you'd have to show them some graphs, charts, and numbers. They're not making this decision because you said so. A D a lot of times will. A C is more somebody that's more compliant. They like order, they take direction. Sometimes people that are in the military or have a military background, sometimes they fall into the C. Because a lot of people that if they have had any years of military service, especially if they've been in the military for like 15, 20 years, I've had some of them that come into real estate. And when I'm sitting down and I'm talking to them and it's in a coaching environment, it makes me smile a lot of times because they'll say, as I'm talking to them, when they agree, they'll say, yes, sir. They'll still say, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Because that's who they are. A C, one of the worst things you could do on a listing consultation is to show up late. Especially if they were military people don't play that. Their lives were run by the clock. They might not say something to you that you were late on that appointment, but I bet you, believe me, they noticed. So a C is a little bit different. Like a C would be like, let's say you went to the movies and you were at the back of the line. And you're at the back of the line, and let's say that you were with a D, you were with me, all right? And we're at the movies and we're gonna see whatever is the latest movie that's out. Now, if you went to the movies with me, I'm gonna be trying to figure out how we can get to the front of the line. Whereas the C is gonna be like, well, no, honey, we're gonna all get in and all of those people, they were in line before us. So we can just, I'm gonna be like, well, wait a minute, Brandon's like right there. Don't you see Brandon is like right there? Come on, Brandon, come on. No, baby, honey, we're gonna all see the movie. Baby, just wait. I'm not that person. Now, none of the behavioral traits are right or wrong. It's just who you are, okay? There's no right or wrong to it. And the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of times you have to be able to read somebody when you go in that appointment. Because if you go in that appointment on a listing consultation and it's a high D and you're whipping out all of this stuff and you determine you're gonna show them all of the comps and you're gonna go through, you're gonna lose that person. A D is like bottom line. That's like me. Okay, so how much are you gonna be able to sell the house for? How much am I gonna net? No, I don't need to see all of the charts and graphs and all of that stuff you got. Now, somebody that's an S or a C, they want the charts and graphs. All right, so deliver your, they talk about your pre-list package prior to your listing consultation. Confirm the appointment date, time, and location. Always call people back prior to your appointment because sometimes you're calling people that you don't know, you're not familiar with. Maybe it was a referral. Everything sounded great on the phone. So your appointment is next Monday. Don't take for granted that they still have booked that time for next Monday. And don't get mad when they don't show up. So call them prior. Don't take for granted because you got the appointment that they've set everything up. The other thing, if you got a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, husband and wife, significant other, make sure both of them are going to be there. Don't do the consultation for one party. Why are we saying that? Because one person, you only talk to one party. The other party's point of view could be totally different from the person you talk to. Two, if you talk to one person, they have to then sell whatever you said to the other person. And is it going to come out exactly as you gave it? Probably not. That's how your appointments can get canceled. Because you talked to one party, everything sounded great. That person then talked to the other person. Well, yeah, everything sounded good and that agent is going to come out and we talked about everything. And she says that really what she does is she does open houses and it attracts a lot of open house. I told you I don't want people coming through the house and walking through the house. We got artwork in here. We got all this jewelry and everything here. Why you want to do that? I don't want any open houses. That's not the agent we want. So let's go ahead, just cancel that. There you go. Okay, so be careful. Make sure all the decision makers will be there. And especially if it's husband and wife, you need both signatures. All right, number 4, complete and practice your listing consultation. This is another thing that I wish agents really put more time into, that they really practice their listing consultation. You have the opportunity to go out here and make $10,000, $14,000, $20,000. And when agents practice is in front of the client. I don't get it. So if I have the opportunity to go make $10,000, $14,000, $16,000, I think I could rehearse my consultation. I think I could record myself giving the consultation and play it back and find out where my uhs are, my ums are, where I lost my train of thought, where I misstated something. Just the big time. I bet you before Beyonce comes to DC, I bet you she's practicing. I bet you Kevin Durant is practicing. Kyrie Irving is practicing. Oprah's practicing before her show. Tyler Perry is practicing. So why is it that we can just go out and ask people to give us like $30,000, $40,000 in equity and we just show up at their house? We ain't practiced nothing. Winging it. You can get over sometimes on winging it. I'm not gonna say that you can't, but I don't think winging is a strategy. All right. Review the lead, your lead sheet. Arrive to the listing. And again, whenever you have a listing, the kiss of death for you on a listing can be showing up late. And I see that happen all the time. Because I can be in this market center and I'll see an agent and I'll say, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm putting together my my listing consultation. Normally they'll say presentation. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So what time is your listing appointment? Oh, it's at 1 o'clock. Well, wait a minute. It's 10 minutes to 1 now. So you're going out to ask somebody for $30,000 and you're late. That's like the kiss of death. That's not fun and games, showing up on a listing consultation late. Do not do that. If anything, you want to be a little early because then that shows you had a real commitment. So Latrina, knock, 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 knock. Latrina, thanks so much for coming to the door. I'm super excited. We had an appointment scheduled at 1, and Latrina, it looks like it's about 5 minutes to 1. So I'm gonna remind you that we had an appointment at 1, and guess what? I'm on time. Actually, I'm 5 minutes early.
Yeah.
I done scored some brownie points off of that versus the agent that shows up late. Okay. All right. The other thing, be professional, and be professionally dressed. I know we're in a casual environment in these days and times, but this stuff of going out with sweatsuits on, warm-up jackets, jeans, I don't really recommend that. Because if somebody's asking me for $30,000, I want them to look like I should be giving them $30,000. Now that's just me. You know, maybe you roll, you know, a different way. And 2, people are going to look at how you're dressed and draw a direct line to what they think you know. How about that one? Now, I've been teaching, coaching, and training. So I do this all the time. But I'm not going to go out there and show up with my cap turned on backwards and some jeans on and some unlaced sneakers going on an appointment. Because when the person looks at you, they're going to think you don't know what you're doing. You could be the world's smartest agent. Okay. All right. So that's showtime. All right. Any ahas on any of this that we discussed? Any ahas? If not, I'm going to keep pushing. All right. Get a signed listing agreement. Here's the thing. Anytime you go on a listing consultation, you got to make a decision. Are you going out to do a CMA or are you going out to take a listing? And your attitude should be, when I go out on this, if I want this listing, I'm coming out here to take this listing. I'm not coming out to present information. Here, I'll hit you with this one. And I often ask my students this. What's the difference? Oh, well, let me ask you this. So when you go out to someone's house on a listing consultation and you give them a CMA, comparative market analysis, or some people say competitive market analysis, why do you give them a CMA? I'll answer it. You give them a CMA for them to make a decision tonight, not to present information. You're giving them a CMA for them to make a decision. And the decision might be no. Okay, I can live with that. I'd rather take a no than a maybe that will never materialize. All right. All right. So it says, number 2, share your price recommendations, the initial list price for their property and your reasoning behind it. I would recommend to you that you set a range as opposed to a set price. Oh, your house is going to sell for 500,000. Well, I think a range of value for your home would be anywhere from about, I'd say maybe 490 to about maybe 510. Set expectations for how you will market the home and work with the sellers. All right, this is teamwork. You don't want sellers that are fighting you. All right. How the listing presentation meets the seller's needs and wants. All right, your needs. Why is this page essential? So you want to have a page in there that talks about their needs to let them know you're in tune with them. So this should be a part of your listing consultation. I'm knowledgeable and caring, and the best agent for these clients. They will appreciate my expertise and preparation and choose me to represent them as they sell their home. All right. Again, we talked about making sure you put people in command under opportunities. Update at every stage of your relationship with them. Because again, when you put them in opportunities, you want to go back and check your opportunities. The other thing, give yourself tasks because your tasks are going to pop up. Any of the tasks that you don't complete, they're going to go red. So it's going to let you know what's on your, what's on your agenda for that day. That's why I'm saying to you guys, make sure that you are in command on a daily basis. Put your leads in command and move them through the system. Opportunities, task. So if I talk to you on the phone and you're an expired listing and you told me that, yeah, you do plan on selling, but you don't plan on selling until the kids get out of school. All right, so I'm going to put you in command and I'm going to put you under an opportunity and I'm going to assign myself a task that, guess what? I need to get you on some type of a campaign. I may need to get you on a neighborhood nurture. I need to get you on something. So I'm going to have a task. So when I go into command, and let's say, and remember, you can set the date of when you want to accomplish the task. So let's say it's scheduled for Monday. So when I click on the computer on Monday, that task is going to pop up. And I know I need to complete it. And if I don't complete it, it's going to stay red. Okay? Charity has something. Charity, yes.
That's my hardest part. I have 500 contacts in my phone that I can and have put half of them into commands, but I only have either a phone number or an email address. I don't have it all.
That's a great opportunity for you because that's an opportunity. I would say this to you. Some of you have people in your phone where you have people just like me. I have some people in my phone that just have a first name, Mike, Jennifer. I don't even remember who that, I don't know Mike or Jennifer. So let's say that I call Mike, ring, ring, ring. Hello, Mike. Hey, Mike, this is, my name is Tyrone Whitby. Mike, I'm a little embarrassed to even be calling you today because I was going through my phone and Mike, I saw your number here and I'm gonna be honest, Mike, I don't even remember how we met, how we connected. So I'm in real estate. So have you ever had any, was it through real estate? Did you ever have any real estate needs, Mike? No. Wow. No, maybe it was through church. My church is blah, 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 blah. Have you ever either visited or do you attend there? No. Well, Mike, let me ask you this. What do you do? Do you have a business that you run? Maybe I was using one of your services. Well, you know, I have a car detailing business and I've been doing that for a while. Oh, you do car detailing? Oh, where do you do that out of? Oh, we're over in Upper Marlboro. Wow. Okay. What type of services do you have? Oh, we have the premium vac and the premium wash and blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Well, Mike, let me ask you this. I typically build my business through helping other people build their business. Mike, you wouldn't be offended if I let any of my clients in my 500-person database know about your car detailing business? Are you looking to expand your business, Mike? Who isn't looking to expand their business? Yeah, I am. Okay, so you are. So here's what I can do. Why don't I let the people in my database know about your car detailing business? And do you think you could I could give them a number so that you know they were referred by me? Would you be able to maybe give them a 10% discount? Yeah, sure. Send them on by. Great. Hey, man, it must have been, I don't know, it must have been divine intervention. So it must have been a reason that you and I talked today. Boom. So clean up my phone. Okay. All right. Oh, and Mike, before you let me go, just out of curiosity, Mike, who do you know that is currently not a homeowner that should be a homeowner, Mike? Now I'm gonna ask for a referral. So somebody I didn't even know. I don't remember, y'all got people like that in your phone, lots of them. So somebody, I don't know, I haven't talked to them. So now I've talked to them, made a connection with them. They don't have a real estate need. However, they're in a business, so I asked what I could do for them. So I'm coming from contribution rather than it being all about me. Then at the end of the call, I asked for a referral. So Mike, just out of curiosity, who do you know that is currently not a homeowner that should be a homeowner? Who would that one person be? That's a script. I didn't ask him for 5 people, 6 people, 1. Who would that one person be? A lot of people have people in their own family that should be homeowners that aren't. All right, let me keep going. Your listing walkthrough, you're going to walk through the property. Leave a handwritten thank you note. All right, your listing agreement. Anytime you go out on a listing appointment, even if the person says, if they are adamant that they're not going to sign any paperwork, they're not going to sell, make sure you go out there with a listing agreement. Because some people, when you get to their house and they meet you, because some people just throw up a defense because they don't want to be sold. But a lot of times when you're there and they got to do something, a lot of times they'll authorize that paperwork. So never not go because somebody told you, we're not signing nothing. If you want to come out and give us the information, you can do that. But when I've told you, we're not signing nothing. I'm still going to have the paperwork regardless. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. We talked about that. We talked about model systems and tools. Your daily success system. This is the Ignite success system. All right. So what Ignite asks you to do is to make 10 new contacts a day, 10. And then add 10 contacts to your database. We just talked about the handwritten notes, 10 handwritten notes. A lot of agents don't put any stock into this. This is huge because people don't get handwritten notes anymore. So what I would recommend is that you go to like Michael's or one of those craft stores and get the colored envelopes, the ones that look like somebody you're going to receive a graduation invitation, those size. And send a handwritten note to somebody. Even if somebody just did something nice for you, then send them a handwritten thank you note. People don't get those anymore. And you'll be surprised at the dividends that they pay. Again, I must say to you guys, this is a part of your job. You got to go to work. I can't emphasize this enough. This isn't fun and games. I have a real estate license. There's a bunch of people with real estate license. They're not making any money. So you got to go to work. This is part of your job. So if you're a dual career agent and you go to work during the day, tomorrow morning, you know what you have to do when you go to work tomorrow. You know what you have to get covered. You don't get a waiver when you get into real estate. And that's what happens. Too many people get into real estate, stand around, don't come in, don't do anything, do whatever they feel, no rhyme, no reason, no daily routine, and they think they're going to be successful at this. And all they're doing is paying real estate fees and dues. You guys are in the business at a time that's going to be very precarious. Because again, if you're a newer agent, 85% of real estate agents don't make it the first year. They don't even survive the first year. This year, it's already been projected that over 400,000 real estate agents will leave the business this year. Because the little lucky stuff is gone. Ain't luck no more. You have to be skill-based. You have to lead generate. You have to be in the lead generating business, not the lead receiving business. You can't pay your bills hoping that somebody's going to call you tomorrow and say they want to put their house on the market. You got to go after that. All right. You got to be appointment driven. We talked about that earlier. You need 2 to 3 appointments a week. That's what you need. 2 to 3 appointments a week. You got to get agreements signed, not just talk to people. They've got to authorize the paperwork. So I prefer to use the term authorize, approve, okay. So would you authorize the paperwork for me on the agreement? Would you approve the paperwork on the agreement? Would you okay the paperwork? It's empowering. Okay, so I need you to sign here. I need you to sign different way. Closings. All right. You've got to bulletproof your transaction to get to closing, or else it falls apart. The other thing, you got to make sure you're on top of the do not call list. Do not call people and you don't have permission to call. Check to see if their phone number is on the do not call list. Keller Williams took a major hit behind this of agents that call people that were on the do not call list. It was a lot of money. So I'll just be real straight with you. So please make sure you call the do not call list. You can Google for the do not call list. It's on the TCPA list, Telephone Consumer Protection Act. All right, and they got do's and don'ts. The company is not going to back you. If you do this and somebody brings this violation against you, you on your own. So make sure that you do this. Make sure you do this. I cannot emphasize this enough. And I want to make sure that I touched on this call. Okay? Engage in every conversation in the spirit of contribution. All right? People are happy to be in a relationship with me. So come from contribution. All right, we're not going to here, I'm not going to give you, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. I'm going to drop a script for you that I just gave you guys. So let me put it in the chat for you, and let me put that script in there. So let me do it this way. I'll say just out of curiosity, and you want to use their name. So I'm going to put blank. So where you see this blank on here, it's their name. So just out of curiosity, Mike, just out of curiosity, Wilbert, just out of curiosity, Yvonne, if there is one person you know who is currently not a homeowner and should be a homeowner, who would that one, I didn't say five, I didn't say who would that be, who would that one person be? All right, that's in the chat. You should see it now. So copy that. Start using that. Every time you have a conversation with someone and you're getting ready to get off the phone or you meet someone, use that. That will increase your referrals. I have coaching clients and it's working for them. So does everybody have that in the chat? Can you see it? Somebody please respond. Let me know that you see it.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we're pretty much at the end of this session, I believe.
Yes.
Prepare your conversation, lead generation conversations. We talked about follow-up. That's huge. Make sure you have follow-up scheduled in your day. Lead generation and follow-up. Please have that scheduled. Celebrate success. Remember, all of your videos are on KW Connect. Anything that you want a video on, go to KW Connect. That's where all of your videos are, KW Connect. Also, YouTube has a lot of the KW videos as well. All right. Written material is KW University. All right, so look, it's been enjoyable being on with you guys. We're about 1 minute to 8. I enjoyed being on with you guys. I hope that I shared some things with you that can help you build your business. Let me put my phone number in the chat in case you need something. I'll put it in the chat. Basically, everybody calls me Coach T, so I'll put that in there. 202-129. All right, so I put my phone number in the chat for you. All right, Coach T, 202-997-0129. I hope that I see some of you at, if you're going to family reunion, I hope I see some of you in California and Anaheim next week at family reunion. So it's never too late to still attend. So if you're thinking about going, see who in your market center is going. Most people a lot of times will share a room. So you might have somebody to share a room. Just got to get your airfare, and somebody might not be going that you could buy their reservation. So it's going to be a great opportunity. All right, so is everybody good?
Thank you. And thank you for the humor.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
You're,
it was good.
you're welcome. So just remember, the purpose of education is not knowledge, it's application. So please apply.
Quiet.
All right. So good night, everybody. I enjoyed being on with you guys. And I want to thank you guys for actually showing up for your business. All right. Good night.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.